If you're going to smoke a Marlboro Red or fuck off. Oh, Daquan, can you just help me with my hip flexors? We've loaded our bollocks up with microplastics and we're all fucked. Hello and welcome to the greatest show on earth. It's Francis Foster Sorts Your Life Out, where I get to sort your life out. I'm not a physiotherapist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not an immunotherapist. I don't know what any of these words mean anymore. Basically, I am not an expert, which means that I am an expert. I know what I'm talking about. I will sort your problems out. Not a medical expert, but we all know. After the pandemic, mate, can you really trust them? The answer is, of course you can't. Of course you can't. But you can trust old Francie boy. Never call myself that, and I won't again. That was terrible. Anyway, you can trust me to sort your problems out. But before we get into that, I'm going to tell you about my week. Normally, I talk about politics and everything like that. But there's not going on that much politically. Well, if you ignore the fact that in the Middle East... what is actually happening, and it's probably going to signal the end of times. But apart from that, let's just ignore the Middle East, because nothing good can come out of it. Do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't want to talk about politics anymore. I've decided. I know I help to run and co-host one of the biggest political channels in the world, but yeah, I don't want to do it I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about... I'm going to rephrase that. I don't want to talk about politics in social situations ever again. I'm done. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have another conversation about politics. It just makes everything worse. Like, you have never been in a party and just thought, you know what's going to improve the atmosphere? Let's talk about Israel. That's never going to happen, is it? It's never going to happen. But all of a sudden, someone bashes a few drinks and goes, you know what? Let's steam into Palestine. Let's have a little bit of a chat about that. Why would you do that to yourself? Why? Like, genuinely, what has it ever done? How has it improved things? How many people have got into a party, drunk a shitload of booze and gone... sorted out the Middle East, and everyone's come out of it going, you know what, mate? I think you've sorted that. Do you know what? I think you've nailed it there, Gavin. I really think you have, mate. After you've had those 6 Red Bull and vodkas, I think your analysis of the geopolitical situation, I mean, it's just been improved. It's just like performance-enhancing drugs, mate. Ever since you did that line, all of a sudden, you become far more lucid on the matter. This is a problem. Is that we just get loads of people who just talking bollocks about a subject they know nothing about. And obviously that's me, but I'm exempt. I'm just talking about everybody else. I can't do it anymore. I can't just be there, because this is a problem, right? Because of trigonometry, like people make a beeline for me, and then they start asking me questions. Well, you think this. So I fuck off. I'm at a strip club. See some tits, love. I'm not here just to talk about, about the impending economic crisis.
I'm very sorry, and you're a very attractive woman, but I have got a hell of a lot on, so...
Don't want to hear about this. I'm here to see some boobs. No, I don't go to strip clubs, actually. And I don't go to social situations because I lost all my friends after... Yeah, after, you criticise things like BLM in comedy. They don't like it. But no, you've got to think, and people are like, oh, but politics is important. It's not that important. Let's be fair. Is it really that important? Like, imagine waking up as a man, but always a woman, but as a man. You've lost your family. You've lost your home. You've lost your marriage. And you know the reason why? Brexit. Because that's what happened to some people. Some people lost everything for Brexit. And you wake up the next day and you just think, oh, great. Every other prick has moved on, apart from Femi. He's still banging the drum about Brexit, God bless him. But everybody else has moved on to talk about whatever it is that they pretend to care about in that moment. And you've sacrificed your entire family and adult life. Everything you worked for. for some issue that nobody now cares about. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. To lose family and friends over politics is moronic. It's stupid. Look, don't do it. Don't do it. It is the most ridiculous thing that you can do. And I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I don't want to talk about politics unless people agree with me. And then, as long as people, then that's fine. But do you really? You got Christmas coming up. Is that really what you want to do? Have an argument with Auntie Doris about whatever it is. And she's going to be different to you. And she's going to think differently because she's older. And people think differently because they were raised differently and they have different opinions. It's like, what good is it for me to have an argument with a 21-year-old about gender? They're not going to agree with me because they're morons. You just let them crack on with it. I can't do it. Look, politics to me is in social situations is like cocaine. It makes everything worse. It just makes everything worse. And the thing is, like with coke, like it's just you get people on coke, right, and they're just cornering you like, and there's no word in edgeway. Just that's what you get when people are talking about the Middle East. And it's not now like Brexit is contentious, but Trump and Harris is contentious. The Middle East. Why are you talking about it? Why do you think you're going to solve it? It's unsolvable. No one's going to solve it. Fucking pointless. Just get him, And the thing is as well is, we've got a collapsing birth rate. We have a collapsing birth rate. And you know what the problem is? It's people having arguments about politics instead of going out and doing some shagging. Everybody's now so politicised. They're like, oh, I can't shag her because, she's left-wing or right-wing. It don't matter. That's not the point. The point is that you go out and you see someone you like and then you shag them. It's a sign that the human being needs to die out. The fact that we look at someone and go, oh, you know what? They disagree with us. What do they look like bending over? Good? Fucking steam in. That's what being a human being is. When did we... Listen, most people are idiots. You're an idiot. I'm an idiot. Why are we taking our lives so seriously? Why do we think that our opinions on politics and society matter? They don't. Your opinions are utterly irrelevant. My opinions are utterly irrelevant. None of this matters. You're here for what, 80 odd years? And if you think let's look at the shagging years, right? So you've got from about 20 to whatever it is. You're gonna waste it talking about politics when you could be going out, having fun, doing a bit of flirting. Is that really what you want to be doing? Talking about politics? This is the problem. We don't need it. It's making everything worse. It's genuinely making everything worse. And it's making us miserable. And then we just want to be surrounded by people who agree with us all day, every day. Really? Is that what you want? Is that the kind of life that you want to create for yourself? Where you're just surrounded with people who agree with you? It's so boring. The entire thing is boring. I'm done with it. I miss the days where we used to just talk about football as men. That was it. You just had to have one or two opinions about football. Boom, the conversation would start. You could talk a load of old bollocks. And afterwards, it didn't matter. Because that was the beauty of football. And then obviously women came along and ruined it. And went, why are you talking about football when there's other things more important? No, the reason we men talk about football is so we can get very passionate about a subject, or all sports in fact. We can get passionate about a subject that doesn't mean anything. I can have a few drinks and I can say something like, you know what? Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest player in the world. And he might be a rapist, but that doesn't stop him from being a great player. And you're going to have a load of banter and whatever about it. But that's a problem. It's a problem now. It's like everyone wants to be so serious about everything. Nobody wants to be irreverent anymore. No one wants to just take the piss and have fun and be playful. What happened to fun? You know, you look at young kids now. They're like, oh, I want to go on a political demonstration. I never wanted that. You know what I wanted? I wanted to just bash a load of pills and just go and have a laugh. That's the problem. No one's having a laugh nowadays. Everyone's so serious. The world's ending. The world's always been ending. See, apart from a few halcyon years in the late 90s and the early noughties, and even then there was 2001, so, you know, the Twin Towers, you know, life got a lot more serious after the Twin Towers, you know? It got a lot more serious, and that was a problem. That was a problem. I mean, obviously, the terrorist attacks were a problem, but that was a problem when everything became more serious. Like, before 9/11, flight travel. I mean, you won't remember this, Jack, but flight travel was incredible. You used to be able to do whatever you want. You used to be able to go on a plane with a gun, maybe with a dog at the same time, a dog under one hand, an AK in another. No one would stop you. Then when you just rock onto a plane, people go, what are you doing? I'm taking my dog and my gun over to America. And they'd be like, right this way. That's how it worked. And then you used to sit in economy as you hurtle through the air at hundreds of miles an hour. In the case of the Concorde, breaking the speed of sound, sitting on a vat of jet fuel, hurling through the sky. And you know what you used to do? You used to light a fag. That is the pinnacle of human achievement. That was a pinnacle. That was 2 fingers up to nature and going, you know what, mate? I'll do what I fucking want. That was beautiful. And we've lost that. We've lost it. And it's come through a lot of things. For me, I'm telling you now, I think the smoking ban was one of the worst things to happen to our country, our society, because people were worried that it was bad for you. All right. Now what do we have? No one goes to pubs. No one has fun. You've got a government now who are like, no, you can't even smoke outside. You've got a government who want to cancel who want to take away the Great British Pint and reduce it. And you know it's a terrible idea because even The Guardian are in favour of it. It's pathetic. We become a nation of wimps. We become a nation of wimps who don't smoke, don't drink. I mean, I don't do either of those things, you know, because they got me depressed. But I'm not even... But look at me. Do you think I look like a paragon of masculinity? Of course I don't. No. I just look like a lesbian that's gone to seed. And that's the point. We've lost something. We've lost our fun. We've lost our spirit of adventure. We're not, you know, we don't have it anymore. And it's a lot of things. I'm telling you, we need to bring cigarettes back. We need to bring the fag back. You see all these people smoking, vaping. Is there any habit more pathetic than vaping? The whole point of cigarettes was that it looked terrible. No, it smelled terrible. It tasted terrible. It was going to kill you. But fuck me, you look sexy as fuck doing it. Oh my God. Think about the old movie stars, the Marlon Brandos, the Jimmy Deans, Sylvester Stallone taking a long drag from a cigarette in the scene, fry it on the floor, stubbing it out with the heel of the boot, and then marching forward to go and defeat the villain. That was charisma. That's sex appeal. We don't have any of that. You're going to do that with a vape? Can you imagine in a Western Clint Eastwood dragging on a fluorescent vape? Pathetic. It's pathetic and it's unmasculine. And it's undignified and it's un-Western. I have no respect for any human beings who use a vape. Or popcorn cherry. No. If you're going to get cancer, do it properly. Commit. Go through the taste barrier until you start to fucking love it. Like a toxic relationship. where the bad bits are so bad they become good. That's what smoking a Marlboro Red was about. You just put that in your mouth, you lit it, you went, and you feel your legs, your lungs cry tears of blood. But it didn't matter because you were a man. I used to smoke Marlboro Reds, and you knew they were a proper cigarette because your mate would come along. You'd only smoke on social occasions. And he'd be like, oh, can I have a cigarette? And you'd be like, there you go, dickhead. And he'd take a drag and he'd be like, and then he'd go outside to throw up because he was a pussy and he had healthy lungs. Like a weed. That's where we are. I'm telling you. It's where we are. I don't know. I feel, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. It's just, I reckon we all need to start taking testosterone. We are a low testosterone society. It's the qualities of semen are plummeting. I'm talking about the quality of cum, male cum. Terrible. It's terrible. It's crap. We've loaded our bollocks up with microplastics and we're all fucked. That's why all the kids are transing themselves, because they're completely addled with plastic. It's part of the reason I don't use a condom. I'm not going to get any fucking plastic near me, darling. I'm thinking about myself and the planet. But anyway, look, I think we're going wrong as a society because, it's the little things in life that make a big difference. It's smoking. We need to bring that back. We need to bring back smoking on planes. We need to bring back smoking in pubs. We need to ban vaping. Vaping is for pussies. If you're going to smoke a Marlboro Red or fuck off. Commit. You don't want to do that. But the thing is, and this is why everything was better in the 90s. I remember I went out for a night out with my mates. I was 17 years old. And we were all there and we got the fags out, right? And we were all on the Reds. And some of us threw up. But it doesn't matter. It trains you to be a man. And one of my mates brought a packet of silk cut lights. Turned out he was gay later on. And of course he was. I mean, the signs were there. And, but we rinsed him so badly, he never did it again. And that man is more masculine than, even though he's a gay lad, great lad, stop getting mingy, he's more masculine than any other man of this generation now coming through. And it's because you need a good beating. You need to be shown the ways. You need to be taught the ways. You need to become a man. And that only happens through guidance. And that only happens through smoking Marlboro Reds, drinking Guinness, and doing things like getting drunk in winter, taking your shirt off and doing push-ups. You ever done that? You've never done that. See? Not a real man. Not a real man. And vaping and all of these things are part of a problem. It's part of the problem. So I guess my point is, I think we need to turn the clock back 30 years to when Britain was great, America was great. And we need to become men. That's what we need to do. Smoke a Marlboro Red, drink a pint of Guinness, tell someone to fuck off, and do 10 push-ups in a pub car park with your shirt off in November. That's how you do it. All right. We're going to be moving towards your problems. But I guarantee you, if you go and do that, you will get a girlfriend in no time. All right. First problem. Dear Francis, I've been dealing with severe anxiety for years and I've never told my boyfriend. I feel like if he knew me, if he knew the real me, the panic attacks, the obsessive thoughts, he'd leave. How do I start this conversation without losing him? That's a good question, because what it talks about here is we're not talking just about anxiety attacks. What we're talking about is emotional vulnerability in relationships and the ability to be emotionally vulnerable and emotionally naked, not physically naked, you dirty little shits, emotionally naked with our partners. And the reality is this person a lady, do we presume? Could be a man.
Either.
Right. I would say this. There are all parts of ourselves that are, inverted commas, less attractive than other parts, or we perceive to be less attractive. Look, you've got severe anxiety, and you've been with this fella for a while. I'm going to be honest with you. He already knows that you've got severe anxiety. He's been around you. He knows you. He knows you get anxious. So actually, when you go and start talking to him and being honest with him, he's going to say the words, I know, because he already knows. You know, there's this concept in stand-up comedy. It's called leaking. But I think it's very true for life in that it doesn't matter what you do or what you say or how you come across, you leak who you actually are. And you show people, even though you try not to, who you really are, what you think, what you believe. So, although you may think you are keeping this under wraps, although you may think that actually you're not showing people, you're not telling people who you are, especially your boyfriend, he knows you've got anxiety. He can see it. It's written all over your face. It's in your body language, the way you hunch over, the way your shoulders are tense. The fact that you freak out when even the slightest thing goes awry or it doesn't adhere to what you want it to be. It's tough. It's tough. And look, anxiety is a bastard. It's awful. But I think you should tell him, because it's only by telling someone that you hope to get the problem solved. And the reality is you might never get the problem solved. And it might be something that you live with all the time. But you will find better and more effective ways at coping, dealing, and managing it. That's it. That's what you need to do. You need to be honest, and you need to talk openly and honestly. And it's not easy. And it's tough. Really tough. But I'm going to tell you something now. The moment you start talking, the better you are going to feel. And also as well, you know what's really good for anxiety? Jack and I went together alone. No, we didn't. We did a cold plunge, hot and cold plunge. It was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was great, apart from the old nose.
Yeah, exactly. Jack got his nose burnt off because he put it in a fire, and then he started complaining that it was hot. But, you know, you get what you pay for with producers. But unfortunately, that's the only thing you've got to do. The only real way to tackle... People think that the way to tackle anxiety is to avoid things that make you anxious. And the reality is that's just going to make you more anxious. The only way you really conquer anxiety is by being brave and tackling your problems head on. Tackling them head on, facing them, going into the eye of the storm and defeating them. That's how you become a better, a better, tougher human being. And tough, I mean more resistant. Chances are your anxiety will always be a facet of your personality. But you can either let it run rampant and control every aspect of your life, or you can be brave and face it down. And that's the challenge with anxiety. You've got to face your challenges. You've got to go up against them. You've got to go into the eye of the storm, into the darkness. Because it's only by doing that will you learn to confront it, challenge it, beat it, and then have it as a part of your life, but not the whole of your life. That's the only thing you can do. That is the only way for you to actually get better, get stronger, and live a life where you can get this monkey off your back. It's the only way to do it. You've got to be strong. Good luck. Dear Francis, I've been getting into digital tussles with people from the UK. It's starting to dawn on me they can't handle having their culture made fun of. Insult humour and the roast culture we have in America is totally lost on them. I think the regional accents you have in the UK are hilarious. In fact, I think a really thick Cornish accent is the funniest thing in the world. I recently saw a video on YouTube showcasing people from the most rural parts of Cornwall who are near completely incomprehensible. It reminded me of the backwoods hillbillies we have in America. I proceeded to poke fun at them in the same way I poke fun at American hillbillies by calling them inbred white trash and how they sounded like mythical elves, only to be called condescending and arrogant in the comment section, and that was not my intention. Clearly something like Kill Tony would be over the heads of most of the people in the UK. What gives? Why are people in the UK so sensitive about being made fun of? For fuck's sake, mate. I would point out how inbred old Lizzie the second was if I wanted to have a go at you snuggle-toothed snowflakes. I noticed that their idea of humour is what Americans call dad humour. Lame puns, corny wordplay. They really think that's funny? And that's from Dixie Normus. See what you done there, Dixie? All right, Dixie. So let's tackle this. Number one, I do think you have a point in some ways. A lot of people do have dad humour, particularly in the more provincial areas of the UK. Puns, wordplay. Do you like wordplay, Jack?
Some of it.
You see, Jack likes some of it, which means he fucking loves it. So I agree with you. I also think, and I've lived in Cornwall, right? And those people, they speak like this, right? You know, I'm from Cornwall. Right, and in up country, we believe that look, you know, they don't just sound like inbreds; they are inbred. They're completely and utterly inbred. So, and you're right to make fun of the people from Cornwall. I lived in Cornwall. I hated the place and I hated the people. Have we got any Cornish viewers and listeners? Probably not. If we do, I meant what I said. No, I'm joking. I'm sure you're wonderful. No, I remember I was actually in Cornwall and I was in a pub and this bloke came up to me, sat down next to me and went to me, are you from London? I went, yes. He went, I know everything about London. I've been all over London. Up, down, left, right. I know everything about it. And I was like, all right, when was the last time you were in London? And he went, 1996. And that just sums up Cornish people, to be honest with you. However, I do think that engaging in a bit of banter, shall we say, in the comments section of a YouTube video is never the best or most effective way of trying to meet friends and influence people, shall we just say. Because a lot of comedy is the way you deliver it, the way you say it. It's facial. It's the tone of your voice. It's where you put the stress. It's the inflections. It's the softness. It's a body language, the gestures, the smile on your face. So, you know, communication, I think, is, what is a hack comment, is 90% non-verbal. And that means you are losing 90% of the communication that you have with people. See, if it was face-to-face, and I'll be honest with you, the British love a bit of banter. They love a bit of piss-taking. I'm from London and we love all that. We love a bit of banter and piss taking. Hey, listen, if you're in London and you haven't been called a paedophile, you don't have any friends. That's how we communicate. That's how we show love. We go, all right, Jack, there he is. Look at him. He's got his new haircut. Looks like a nonce. Way. And everybody laughs and claps. And that's how we show love. We looks like a pedo. Looks like a pedo. So we do have that. And there's a lot of people in this country who do like Kill Tony and love it. And it's a great podcast. I know Tony very well. He's a wonderful little man. But I think what the problem you're making, Dixie Normus, if that is your real name, is that you are trying to have fun on YouTube in the comment section when it is impossible to have fun. It's just not possible. It's not possible in the slightest. So I would advise you, come to London, come to the UK, and try and have a bit of banter here. I mean, if you don't get bottled or stabbed, you'll probably find it much better. We love banter in this country, and we love piss-taking. The reality is, going on a YouTube video and typing in the comment section ain't the best way to have a good time. Know what I mean? Next one, please, Jay. Dear Francis, I'm in a happy relationship, but I've developed a secret addiction to online gambling. I've racked up over $5,000 in debt, Jesus, and I don't know how to come clean without losing everything. How do I tell my partner before it's too late? Oh, Jesus. Poor guy. Right, is that it? Okay. Right, it's normally a man because it's men who are more addicted, who actually. I'm going to say it's a man because it's much rarer for a woman to have gambling addiction than a man. Although of course women do have it, but nowhere near in the same way as men do, in the same numbers. Look, mate. First of all, congratulations on identifying what you have, which is an addiction, which means you are not in control of your actions when you're engaged in said action like gambling. So first off, congratulations, well done. That's really good. You've identified the problem, you've correctly labelled it and identified it, and you've admitted what you are, which is an addict. So you're already on the path to recovery here. Congratulations. $5,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Look, it's going to be horrible. You've just got to tell them. You've got to sit them down and you've got to tell them and you've got to weather the storm. And you've got to tell them. I know it's horrible. I know it's horrible and I know it's awful. And I know you're going to put yourself through hell and there's a good chance your partner might leave you. But you don't want to carry around that secret with you. You can't. Because what happens if you stay with this person for the rest of your life? What, you're going to carry this around for it's going to come out. You're going to have a drink. Probably might be an idea to give up the drink, because if you drink and then you have a gamble, as a lot of people do. Look, no one here is perfect. No one here is perfect on God's green earth. I certainly am not. We are all flawed. We are all broken. You've got to be honest. You can't keep this a secret. Even if you pay it off, it's still going to haunt you. You're still going to carry it around all day, every day, all week, every week. And if you're not honest about it, it's going to come back and get you. You need to come clean and be honest about what it is that you've done. Because otherwise, if you suppress it and you don't talk about it and you don't start telling people about this issue, it's going to get worse. Because you might keep it under control for a few months, even a year or two, but it will come back. That's how it works. It's really nasty and vicious. So you've got to be honest. And it's going to be, $5,000 is a lot of money. I know it might not be a lot of money to a lot of people, but I tell you what, when I was younger, even now, $5,000 is a lot of money. You've got to be honest. You've just got to tell them. And I know it's terrifying, and I know you're ashamed, and I know you feel awful, and I know that it feels like not only have you lost a shit ton of cash, but you're also going to lose your partner and maybe everything else. But you got to tell them. You've got to. And you've got to brave that storm, and whatever will be, will be. Because they need to know that they are in a relationship with an addict. And that ain't for everybody. And if it isn't, that's fair enough. But they're going to find out one way or another. And it's far better that they find out through you by you telling them than they find out by accidentally opening a bank statement or wondering why you're getting cards for, getting letters from the credit card company, or God forbid having people knock on your door and it's a bailiff and them taking things. It will come out. The truth always comes out. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. You've got to be honest. You've got to face them, and you've got to talk to them, and you've got to tell them. You don't want this to come out another way. And it will do, because that's how life works, because everything always comes out. And you need to get your gambling under control, and you need to talk to someone, and you need to go and see someone. Because if it won't, your addiction is going to run rampant, and it's going to destroy everything in your life. So please. It's $5,000. It's a lot of money, but it's not a ruinous amount of money. You're not going to lose everything because of $5,000. You've caught it early. Go and talk to your partner and go and seek some help. Good luck. Dear Francis, I'm in my mid-40s and I've just found out I'm pregnant. My partner's thrilled, but I'm horrified. I thought we were done with babies and I've been planning for an empty nest. How do I tell him I don't want this child? Oh, wow. I mean, firstly, congratulations. I mean, it may not sound like this, but you got to think there's a lot of people in your... Look, there's a lot of people who would do anything to have a child and can't have one. Or maybe they're not in a relationship, or they haven't met the right person. Or maybe they just physically can't have it, or they miss their window, and it's hard, you know. You've got to think, why is it that you don't want to have this baby? Is it because you don't want the slog of bringing up a baby? Look, there's a lot of people who come into this world and are accidents, right? Like Jack's one. And I'm joking, Jackie. I'm sure you were very much wanted. And were described as accidents and whatever else. But do you really want to have an abortion? I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe you do. I mean, I don't have kids, so I just think you've got another opportunity to bring another life into this world. And something else. And you don't know who this person could grow up to be. They could grow up to be the most incredible, magical person who can change the world and change your life and everybody's life around them. They could end up becoming a scientist, helping to, cure an illness. They could become an incredible teacher or a doctor or a writer. This person has so much potential. Do you really want to have an abortion and get rid of that person? I don't know, maybe you do and you don't want to go through it. Look, what do I know? I've never raised a kid. I've never raised a child. I've never done the whole baby thing. So you could argue and point fingers at me and you go, well, what do you know? And you'd be absolutely fair enough because you have raised them and you've done the whole baby thing. And it looks brutal and tough and demanding and exhausting and all of these things. But do you really want to do that? Is this what you want to do? I don't think you do. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. I think you should tell him the way you're feeling. Look, you're the one who's going to carry this. You're going to be the one who's going to give birth to this child. But you should talk to him. But you've got, your kids sound like they're older, like they're about to leave home and whatever else. And the fact that they're older, maybe they'll be able to help out a little bit as well with the baby. I just think it's a chance for a wonderful new opportunity for you both. And, there is such a thing like empty nest syndrome. So actually, maybe when the kids leave, you might feel a little bit empty. Maybe you might want, and then you might regret not having this kid. I don't know. My advice would be talk to your partner, but also realise that you've been presented with a wonderful opportunity to bring someone else into the world. Someone else who might actually create something of beauty and hope and wonder, and it's going to change your family, and it's going to, I don't know what to say. And I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're speaking about. But also, think hard and carefully about this path. Because maybe you do, and that's fine. But also, you never know who this person might be. And wouldn't you regret not meeting them? I guess I would. But we're different. Just talk to your partner about it. And I hope it works out. And for me, I hope you do have it, the child. Because there's a high chance they're going to be incredible. And the moment you see them, you're going to fall in love with them again like you did all your other children. So I hope you have the kid. And I hope you can bring another person into the world. Good luck. Dear Francis, my wife has started developing a crush on her gym instructor. And it's obvious she's enjoying the attention. I haven't said anything, but it's eating me up inside. I don't want to come off as jealous, but I'm scared this could become something more. Should I confront her? Look, this is one of my unpopular opinions. I don't think that women in relationships should have male PTs. I don't. Look, and I'm just saying this. Look, it's not that. It's just me. I don't want my girlfriend or wife working out with some ripped 26-year-old with bulging biceps, you know, with a reduced or lower IQ, making jokey little asides to her and flirting. I don't want it. I don't want it. I was going to say it's not natural. It's very natural. In fact, it's too fucking natural. I don't want it. I don't. Look, I go to the gym. Of course I do. Shut your mouth. But I go to the gym and I've seen these personal trainers, the way they move through the gym, the way that they smirk and do the little wink with the ladies in their 40s. And they're like, ooh, Daquan just winked at me. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I know what's going on there. And I know what's happening. And they're like, oh, Daquan, can you just help me with my hip flexors? And yeah, and he spreads her hips and we know what happens from then on. Look, I don't like it and I don't trust it. And look, that's just, look, and maybe I'm an insecure and petty man. I don't, no, I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I genuinely don't like it. I don't want my partner, my wife, my girlfriend fraternizing with a man significantly younger, better looking, in better shape and healthier than me. Because I know what happens. No. It's wrong. It is wrong. Would you trust a woman like that?
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself.
What do you mean believe?
You sound like an insecure man.
I am, yes. Because I'm 42 years old. I'm not insecure. I have an accurate assessment of my level of attractiveness. And I know that PT looks much better than... You haven't seen me with my shirt off.
But yeah, fair point. You're right.
Fair point. You're... but look, no, you can't... Listen, there's backing yourself and there's being delusional. And, you know, you can't.
Have faith in the woman that you've chosen won't just go for a muscly PT.
Well, no. Listen, I know women. I'm an expert. That's why people listen to this. That's why people watch this. Because they know and they're convinced of my expertise. I don't know. I couldn't do it. That's just me. I couldn't. No, am I joking? Look, I'm sure there's a lot of women that shag their PTs. There's a lot of women that do it. I don't know. I think you need to talk to her, and I think you need to ask her what's going on. And then what you need to do is certainly go, I think you should get Dale as a PT. She'll be like, which one's Dale? And you go, oh, yeah, the one, you know, she'll be like, the gay one. And you go, yeah. He's great. He runs a Zumba class on a Thursday morning. And, you know, he can teach you dancing. And it'll be great. You always moan when I don't take you dancing. Why don't you do Dale? He's great. You know, don't do the ex-MMA fighter with abs like granite.
The handsy one.
Yeah, exactly, that handsy one. The one who rests his hands a little bit too long on your hip. And you fucking love it. I know you fucking love it because I've seen you. I know what you're like. So, I would suggest, say to her, there's this great, look, you've got two options, right? You need to confront her about it, and then you need to cut this PT out of her life, right? And then move her on either to a gay one or a woman. See, the good thing with the gay one is they love dancing, so they can do that. And for those of you that's a sweeping generalisation, they all fucking do and you know it. Shut up. Have you ever met a gay man who doesn't love a musical? Thank you, case closed. So you can get them to do all the dance stuff with her, and women love that. Right? They fucking love a bit of dancing, right? Or you go down the female route. And the good thing with the female route is you present the argument. Nobody knows a female body like a woman. And she will be able to do exercises with you which are far more appropriate for someone of your gender and biology. And you've got to remember, like, you know how you always say during your period you feel this and that and that and that and that. Well, someone will be able to design an exercise program purely for you and for the body. A man will never be able to understand what a woman goes through. I know, they just don't. And this person will. So I think that is actually far more effective for her to do, for you to work with someone like that, and not him. All right? Don't do that last bit because she'll get upset and annoyed. But just say, look, do you really want a man who looks like a second-rate Adonis from South London and with a few tribal tattoos and chiseled abs touching you? No, you don't. You don't. You don't. What you want is Simon, the dance instructor, one of them, or you want the woman. That's what I'd do. And then what I can do is then I can watch you train together because she's got a magnificent set of buttocks. I think we've just solved this. I think that's the best way of doing it. Get her with a gay or a bird. But you got to cut him out. Fuck that. Anyway, good luck. And I hope it works out, because if it doesn't, he's going to be shagging her in 6 months. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching and listening to the show. You can find me at Francis J. Foster across the socials. Thank you. Like and subscribe if you watch this on YouTube. Give us a rating on Spotify. And make sure you subscribe. And I will see you next week with some belts. We've got some great guests coming up. It's going to be awesome. Thank you very much.